Thank you so much, Bruce and Sharif, for allowing me to talk about one of my favorite subjects, change your words, change your life, or the power of your spoken word. And I'm going to start with a quote by one of my favorite authors, Florence Scovel Shinn, and that's, "A man can change his conditions by changing his words." So why do I want to talk about this? Well, most of you are probably familiar with the law of attraction. And the law of attraction states that what's like unto itself is drawn. Basically, it means that whatever you attract into your life equals your electromagnetic point of attraction. And that's composed of your thoughts and your spoken word, which is the language of your brain. And it has, it's electric. It has electric charge. Your thoughts, your words have electric charge. And your feelings, your emotions, which is the language of the body, and your feelings and your emotions have magnetic charge. So your thoughts and words are what you're sending out, and your emotions are what you're pulling back. So if you're sending out a thought or words around abundance and you're feeling poor, then the feeling is negative, and the magnitude of the feeling determines how much and how fast more reasons to feel poor will come into your life. Or the opposite, if you feel abundant and you're feeling super happy and grateful, then you will attract more reasons to feel grateful and abundant. So basically, your point of attraction determines what manifests in your life. And most of you have heard the word abracadabra, and it actually means I create as I speak. Florence Scovel Shinn often says your word is your wand, because spelling actually means casting spells. So why is this so important? Well, it's because of who's listening. And who is listening? Well, the universe or God or source energy or infinite intelligence or whatever you want to call it is paying attention to all of your words. So is your subconscious mind. And so are the people around you and their subconscious minds. And what do all of these listeners have in common? Well, none of them have any sense of humor whatsoever. They will believe everything you say, and they will take everything as truth, and they will see what they can do to make sure that what you say is true. And another reason why we want to be really mindful with our words is because our words is how we connect with ourselves and with others. So here are some traps. And as you can see, Yoda reminds us of the first trap, which is the word try. He says, do or do not, young Padawan, there is no try. And the reason why I want to highlight that is the word try really sets us up for failure. And it kind of creates that safe space to fail. Because if you're trying at something, if you fail, you just tried, you didn't actually commit to doing it. And I remember once getting some tea at the coffee maker, and someone I knew was there getting a coffee refill. And as he was putting his cup in there, he said, I'm really trying to drink less coffee. And I said, do you want to? And he said, no, not really. I enjoy coffee. And I said, well, then maybe be kind to yourself and stop saying that you're trying, or commit to wanting to do it and say that you're doing it instead of trying. So good options to say instead are I am doing it, I intend to, and I will. But no more trying. And another trap is what's called put down jokes. And I'll give you a good example. I have a friend who is really fit and very smart. And for that reason, her boyfriend thought it was okay to make jokes about her being fat and stupid. It says ugly, but it was stupid. And after about a year, she found herself sitting in her mom's kitchen crying and asking her mom, Mom, am I stupid and fat? Because he had repeated this over and over, and her subconscious mind had perceived it as truth. So I will never make a put down joke about myself or about others because they're all listening. The universe, the subconscious mind, and I don't want that to be true. Also, I used to, and it felt so bad, and that told me that it wasn't right for me. The other one is gossip. What you're sending out will come back to you. So don't participate in gossip. It's not gonna serve your karma well. Another one that I notice is people looking out at the weather, and maybe it's raining and the wind is blowing and it looks kind of not pleasant, and people will say, oh, it's a bad day, when in fact it's a rainy day. Doesn't mean it's a bad day. Maybe it's a refreshing day because it's cold, but how you word your observation will determine how you perceive it. So I make sure that I'm factual. I can say, well, it's raining or it's snowing or it's a sunny day, but that doesn't determine whether it's a good or bad day, at least to me. Also, there's the negative self-talk trap. I think a lot of us grow up with well-meaning, maybe parents, maybe coaches, thinking that if we are coached negatively, if we're yelled at, we will do better, which in fact, I don't think works really well. And it's the same with your negative self-talk. If I do something that I perceive as not good, then berating myself will help me not making the same mistake. Whereas I found that what it does is it only makes me feel bad. And when I feel bad about that behavior, I'm actually thinking about that behavior and I'm attracting more reasons to feel bad about it. Whereas if instead I can forgive myself and move on and say, okay, I learned, I will choose differently next time, and then speak kindly to myself instead. And then you have the different ways of speech that people use all the time without even thinking about what they're saying. There's the good luck phrase, break a leg. And I saw a presentation with Bruce Lipton where he told that he was wished good luck going on stage by someone who said break a leg, and he broke his leg. So don't actually wish someone to break a leg. Maybe just say good luck if you wish them well. And then there's the killing time. I'm just killing time, which doesn't really serve you. Instead, there are other ways to say maybe you're relaxing or you're enjoying having some time to spend doing nothing. And then there's the I'm dying to, or she's dying to. I'm dying to go on vacation. I'm dying to achieve this or that. And who knows, maybe you will. So I wouldn't take the chance. And there's the words that just steal your power, like the should, must, have to, which you can actually replace with the shoulds or ought tos. You can replace with could, taking back your power. The have tos and musts, you can exchange with choose to, want to, and maybe even say because, like I have to pick up the kids from school. Well, you actually don't have to, but you choose to because you love your kids. I have to get groceries. No, I don't have to, but I choose to and I want to because I love food. So there are, and maybe there are some have tos that you actually don't have to. So good exercise is to write down a list of your have tos and really look at them and determine which ones do you actually have to do, and then stop doing the others. And if it's hard to decide, you can also write down, I choose to because. And this is from a book called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. And he tells a story of how he was writing these reports. And his why was because they provide income. but he hated doing them. So he decided that he could make that money doing something that he loved. So he stopped doing them. So you actually don't have to do a lot of the things that you think you have to do. And even if you do, changing the wording to choose to will make you feel better, because it will make you feel more empowered. Here are some powerful spells. So I've been talking about the things that it will serve you not to do. And here are some things that might serve you. So the thing is, because God, the universe, source, energy, all that is listening to everything you say, everything is actually prayer. Because your thoughts have energy, your words have energy, and your emotions have that magnetic power, what you're sending out will pull the equivalent to you. And that means everything is prayer. And one of the most powerful prayers, one of the most powerful spells is the wording I am. And everything you say after I am is a prayer. It's a command. It's something that you're asking the universe for. So it's the most powerful spell, which is why I would not recommend being your illness or symptom or owning it. One is being it and the other is owning it. So I am sick or I am ill is not necessarily serving you. Saying instead I'm experiencing illness is separating you from the illness. Yeah. And it's the same with negative emotions. I am angry, I am jealous, I am this, I am that. I will be happy to be my positive emotions, but I don't want to be the negative emotions. So instead I experience, I am feeling, but I would not want to say I am. And if I do, and if you guys catch me, please do point that out to me so that I can adjust my wording. So whenever you say the words I am, make sure that whatever comes after is positive. I am in the process of becoming great at remembering names, instead of the classical, like I am so bad at remembering names. I am happy. I am, just positive, only things that you want to be true. It's also said that I am is actually in the name of God. So it's a very powerful spell. And as I mentioned, I choose to and I want to, as opposed to should and have to. And then one of my other favorites is how to best receive a compliment. I used to do what most people do when someone gave me a compliment. I would be like, nice sweater. Oh, it's old. And then someone told me that all you need to do is smile and say thank you. Because if you're saying no, you're actually telling them they're wrong. You're not validating their opinion. And then one of my friends took this one step further, and she taught me to smile and say, thank you, it's true. So that's what I say now when I receive compliments. And it always creates smiles. Like, how can you not smile when someone says that? I'm validating their opinion and I'm really taking it in. So that's how I now like receiving compliments. So what would I want you to take away from this? Well, for one, there is no try. There is only do. I would love if you wanted to replace your shoulds with coulds and your have tos with choose to, and only saying positive statements after the words I am. So not being your emotions, not being your illness or symptoms, and only saying positive statements after I am. So will you make that choice to harness the power of your spoken word, take control over the spells you cast, and watch your dreams come true? And if so, tell your family and friends and ask them to call you out every time you cast unfortunate spells, because that's really going to help you. It's so easy to be blind to our own unfortunate spells, but with some help, we can learn to catch them and rephrase them. And I want to point you in the direction of some more resources. So Florence Scovel-Shinn, and I'm also going to post this in the chat so that you know it will be in the video description as well. Florence Scovel-Shinn, her book, The Power of Your Spoken Word, is on YouTube for free, and all of her books are wonderful. She's a metaphysics teacher from New York in the 1920s, I think. And then there's Louise Hay, and she has a podcast called The Power of Your Spoken Word as well. And the book I mentioned, Marshall Rosenberg, Nonviolent Communication, I am reading it now for like the 4th time. It's at the moment my favorite book. And also, if you would like some help reprogramming your subconscious mind, then I'm here for you. So feel free to schedule your free strategy call today. I have spoken, and so it is. And now if you want to ask any questions or have any comments, please give it a go.
I've heard it said the word try is failing with dignity. Using the word try is failing with dignity, and it's something I've always had in my lexicon. As when my kids would say to me, yeah, I'll try to do that, I'll say, just tell me you won't. Okay, because it's all about really being intentional in your speech. So well done, Greta. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is very good.
Greta, you mentioned that it's important to have your family call you out when they hear negative self-talk or when they hear your talk. I think it also benefits them. So they become more aware. It's a process of pardon the word, infecting others towards proper speak and to being more conscious of what comes out of our mouths, which has a tremendous effect on our lives.
Absolutely. And it's kind of almost sneakily helping them because you're asking them to help you and you're not asking them to change their behavior or their words, but they might think that you have some good points, and by helping you, they will actually help themselves too. So that's a great point. Thank you.
I think we tend to speak in negative terms as a defense mechanism, and so you really need to have a paradigm shift to try to get that out of your thoughts. Maybe
not try, but to get it out of your thoughts.
Yeah, to get it out of your thoughts.
Thank you for saying try so I could point it out.
Yes, I'll keep doing that. I'll try to keep doing that.
I think it's that people are afraid to be verbose, and they tend to want to play down their confidence. So they use words like try, or when they get a compliment, they'll say, oh no, it's a, they want to be humble. When I always found, saying, thank you, I appreciate that, is acknowledging the compliment.
Absolutely.
Even for me, being as bold as I am at times, saying, thank you, it's true, would almost come off as sarcastic.
Yeah.
And too
egotistical.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. That was the word I'm looking for. Too egotistical.
Yeah, and cocky.
And cocky, right? And cocky. The difference between cocky and confident is when you're cocky, you can't back it up. When you're confident, you can.
Right.
And that's the difference.
That's a really good point, Joe. I mean, sometimes, Greg, I now I enjoy it and I laugh and I smile when I give you a compliment. You say thank you. I know. I am. The first couple of times you did that, I went, like,
I've,
but
yeah.
I like what he's saying. It's like, I thank you. I really appreciate that. It's even warmer and softer.
It absorbs it,
Mm.
and it gives the person the recognition for giving you that compliment. And it's important that that's a good, it also fosters giving them a compliment. I appreciate that. And I want you to know how much I appreciate you in that same phrase. So,
Sandy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, actually, we have a try class, but they're doing it. The try is turning into, hey, you're doing it for an hour, for the pickleball and tennis lesson. So we con them in. So, oh, why don't you try it? Oh, we got a try class that you're doing it. So they can't get out of the try. Oh, I can't sign up. I'm like, yes, you are signing up for the class and you're doing it. So
that's called the puppy dog approach. Here, take
it
the puppy
works.
home.
It
Take the puppy
works.
home, and if you don't like it, you can bring it back. Right?
But it works. I want to tell you, when I do that class, I get them signed up for 8 weeks program, at least. So there you go.
Well,
And by the
I'm
way,
guessing
if you
that's
don't,
yeah,
go ahead, Greta. Go
it's a
ahead.
different kind of try. It's trying something out versus trying to achieve something. So I would
Yep.
say it's a different use of the word try. And yeah, you're giving them a demo of what they can expect, and they love it. And of course, they want to keep working with you.
That's why Greta gives a free strategy session. Because you spend
right.
45 minutes with Greta, you're going to want to sign up for the program.
Exactly.
I did.
Well, law of attraction really is a powerful energy. And I've used it throughout my entire career, not knowing it. And then I was intentional about using law of attraction, which got me into the generator business, which most of you have heard that story. It's getting even more magnified with the next thing that's coming, which I'll be telling you about in January. But it's incredible how powerful intentional thought is, and going through the steps of knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, acting, blah, 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 going through the process and not sabotaging it at the end, which I'm having some challenges with going through the steps. So knowing what the steps are is half the battle to getting to the end result. And working with Greta is a powerful, powerful way to get there if you're not educated in the process.
Michael.
Along, I wanted to share a point here along the lines of the law of attraction, that as we become conscious of the words that come out of our mouths, we can also become conscious of what our point of attraction is. And I read a lot. I mean, Abraham, stuff like that. The barometer of emotion, what you're actually feeling. If you can become conscious of what you're feeling, you know what your point of attraction is. If you're feeling anger, you're going to get more of the same. If you're feeling frustrated, you're going to get more of the same. And so if you want to know what's coming, just check in with your emotions, and as best as possible, stay in that upper echelon or the hierarchy of emotion, which is joy, gratitude, the things that we all know to be true, and that make us feel better. When we're feeling that, we're definitely it's like a radio signal. Whatever you want country western, you're going to tune to that channel, and if you don't, and you're getting acid rock, and you don't like acid rock, you need to change your frequency, which is becoming aware of your emotion. It's just as important, I think, as the words that come out of your mouth. But just a point to law of attraction.
I absolutely agree. And yeah, your point of attraction is the sum of your thoughts and your emotions. And your words are thoughts that you're speaking out loud. So the way you feel will tell you if you're in alignment with your higher self or with what you really want to achieve. And if you're feeling bad, it's telling you, hey, no, something is off here. I might want to change my point of attraction so that it'll manifest what I actually want, as opposed to more of what I'm getting now that I'm feeling bad about.
There's a wonderful book called The Attractor Factor by Dr. Joe Vitale, who was one of the speakers in The Secret. And that book, I've probably read 24 books on the topic. That one keeps standing out as the framework for the law of attraction. And it really spells it out in 200 pages of easy reading, how to use it in both business and in personal life. And it's not woo-woo, and it really kind of, he breaks it down to a scientific, methodical process that I think any logical person can grasp. And I strongly recommend it. It's a powerful case study of how to use the techniques and the science behind it. The Attractor Factor by Dr. Joe Vitale.
And as long as we're pitching books, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter is my favorite. Learned a lot from that book, practiced it, read it a bunch of times, and it's definitely a benefit.
So Greta, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You mentioned in the beginning that you have a 30-minute call. What is that about? How do you get involved in that?
The 30-minute call is for networking. It's for anyone who wants to get to know me, and I want to get to know them. And for anyone who is considering working with me and is curious about how I work and whether we might be a good fit and whether what I do might be what they're looking for, I have a free 30-minute strategy call where we get to know each other, and I either recommend one of my programs if I think that's a good fit, or I can send you to someone else who I think is a better fit, or say, hey, I don't think we should work together because we're not vibing or whatever, because that's really important. So that's the 30-minute call is for anyone who's curious about working with me.
Sherry and I did that, and it's very good, very informative, was helpful.
Thanks, Bruce.
So last week, one of my favorite teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, was playing, and I fell asleep. And the next morning, I look on my phone, I see they won. So I was pretty excited. I didn't know how they won, but I knew they won. So in the morning, I go onto YouTube and watch the highlights. And what was really crazy about this, I knew the outcome, but I didn't believe in the outcome. I go, wow, they're not playing good, but I know what's going to happen at the end. And as I'm watching it back and forth, I didn't realize they went into overtime. And I go, wow, this is a game I'm happy I didn't watch. I would have been going crazy. But I knew the outcome. And it was really interesting this time because I believe in this when I know what the outcome is. So the question I had, and I was very happy watching the outcome. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have watched it anyway. So to start the new year, I want to do something that I've been doing for years. And I know what the results are going to be. But it's in between the start and the finish. And what happens in the middle is definitely not hard. It is very easy, a matter of fact. And I compare it to almost playing golf that I don't like. It only takes one shot to come back, one good shot. So I know the reward and the risk and all that stuff is above my head. The biggest issue that I have is just trying to really believe in the process, because I know what the result is absolutely going to be. I saw this picture many, many times. It's the key is to close my eyes almost and just go through the motion. And it's a beautiful day outside, and just go through the motion and keep track of where I am. And I know what the results are going to be. Question I have besides taking stats of exactly what I'm doing, is there a quick fix every day to try to go, just take one day at a time? You believe in the outcome, trust yourself, the outcome, just take one day at a time. Is there anything in between that I'm missing? Because I know I'm a self-starter and all that stuff, but sometimes when it's so easy, it is so hard.
You
Is
need to
what I'm
book a,
doing.
you need to book a session with Greta.
I'm sorry?
You need to book a session with Greta.
Absolutely.
Well,
But
thanks for that, Joe. And I always say when people say I have to, I'll say you can. But what I would say is it sounds like your perception of the path isn't great. And so what we would work on then would be to change your perception of the path to something that would make you feel excited about the actions and the path that you need to take to get to that great result, so that you will enjoy the heck out of the path. And
just so you know,
whatever,
right in the money.
whatever is blocking you from believing that, once you remove that and change your perception of it, it's going to feel great. And probably too, when you feel great about the path, you're going to reach the goal faster.
And you know what's just interesting with that story? Because I look at Broward County of Palm Beach, and mostly all my business is in Broward County, and it's been for years prospecting. But when I moved into Palm Beach 3 years ago, I started the prospecting. Didn't like it. I didn't like the area, and that's what kept on staying in my head. But what's very interesting, why I want to go back, is that first day that I prospect could be my biggest case going into 2022. So even though I don't like the area, because it really doesn't make a difference where I am, but I don't like the area. So I'm going back to Broward where I'm very comfortable. So I could do what I do best. And I think that was the biggest problem in 3 years, trying to go against the grain that I just in my mind, I didn't like. And you said it in your whole thing, I want to, I choose to, I'm happy. And that's powerful stuff, very powerful, so hey, I appreciate it. But you're right on the money with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we've been doing a lot of focus here on how this can benefit us in our personal lives. But one challenge I think might be good for us is to look at how we can apply this professionally to our specific careers, and maybe that will help to improve the way we do things and the results that we get. One thing that I'm observing is that if we have like a buddy system, maybe that's something that could be helpful, so we can be better aware of what we're doing right and possibly what we might be doing wrong, going down a wrong path. So it might be a little easier for like Sherry and me being not only partners in life, but in business, that we could do that. Sherry has these buddy calls with Yvonne. So Sherry and Yvonne might benefit from keeping some of this in mind in maybe going forward or backwards, reviewing, what happened in the past week. So I think this could be helpful if you want to team up with someone to help focus on the positive sides of what Greta was talking about today.
All right, guys, I need to go, but I just wanted to thank you all for being such an attentive crowd, and thank you for allowing me to talk about one of my favorite subjects. And also want to wish you happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Greta.
Greta,
You're
good job.
Thanks,
wonderful.
Greta.
Greta,
Great
good
job.
job.
Nice
Y'all are the
presentation,
best.
Greta.
Thank
so
you.
much.